I've made the switch from a Windows laptop to a MacBook. And as a Power BI developer, it's quite a big scary step to make because Power BI Desktop only is available for Windows, not for Macs. In this video, I'm going to tell you why did I make this decision, how my current setup looks like, and if I still think why did I make the switch? Because for the last 15 years, I was always working on a Windows laptop. I had a few Lenovo's, I had Dells. However, each time I was running into the same problems. They were getting slow, hot, and they were producing a lot of fan noise, even if I would just be browsing the internet. A few weeks ago, my laptop was getting too hot, too slow again, and I started to explore different options. And everybody is so positive about MacBooks. However, there's always this noise in the back of my head, and that is, well, there's no Power BI Desktop on a Mac, and maybe there are all these other different kinds of issues that you don't even know about. But I was so sick of it that I thought, okay, let's just do it. Let's get a Mac. And this is the one that I got. So a 16-inch MacBook M5 Pro. And let me tell you, it is pretty nice. Not only how it looks and feels, but you know, I can just have it on my lap when I sit on the couch, work, and it doesn't get hot, it doesn't produce any noise. Exactly how it should be. Now, of course, that first day is a little bit weird because I'm so used to Windows that macOS feels a little bit different, but that feeling goes away very quickly. It is very intuitive, all makes sense, no big issues. But then, well, I had to figure out how can I still work properly with Power BI Desktop. Now, there are a few options. Basically, all do the same thing. They run a virtual machine on your laptop, and on that you run Windows, and you can install Power BI and start using it. Now, the three options that I looked at, two of which are free, are Fusion from VMware. There's also UTM, also free, and there's a paid option, Parallels. Now, in the end, I decided to go for Parallels. I believe it's also the option that most people that run Windows applications on a Mac would go for. Even though it's paid, it has a lot of features, everything runs relatively quickly, and, well, just a nice experience overall. So how much is it? Well, let's click now on Buy Now. Now you see there are three different options. I went for the middle one. A lot of the times they have some deal ongoing. Also when I bought it, it was for 66. However, this is a subscription, so it would renew for 120. But I think if you cancel and then just take the new deal, maybe there's some way around it that you always get the 66. But there's a fixed fee that you have to take into consideration when you buy a Mac and you have to then run these Windows applications. Now the whole installation process is really straightforward and is like installing any other application. So you just download the installer. Now that starts the whole installation process, guides you through it, sets up a virtual machine with Windows on it, which then looks like this. Windows 11 running in a separate window, just like any other application. Now, in the menu bar in your dock, there is Parallels Desktop and Windows 11. Now, over here, of course, inside of Windows, you need to install Power BI, which you can do from the Microsoft Store. So just like you would, well, on a normal Windows PC. So after doing that, you can then open it up. Now, let me start a blank report. And you see at the moment, well, it's maybe a little bit weird that it's in this separate window. What you can do, of course, is you can make it full screen. And you wouldn't even notice that you're on a Mac, because even if I make this now small, you see, it looks and feels like just normal Windows. Now, to get out of this though, I have to go here to the top. You see, I get my menu bar and then click on that green button and I'm back. Now, there's another cool mode, which is called Coherence, which I can switch to by clicking on that blue button over there, or I go here to Windows 11, right click, view, enter Coherence. And now, if I would make Power BI small, you see, it just feels like any Mac app. Now, one thing that is really important to look at is how much RAM, how much memory do you allocate to that virtual machine? Because of course that really influences how smooth the experience is. So if you go here to Windows 11, I right click and then configure, then here you have all different kinds of options. One of them being CPU and memory. Now, to make changes here, you would first need to shut down the virtual machine, and then you can choose how much memory you want to allocate. Now, I have 64 gigabytes on my Mac, and I allocated 32 gigabytes. For me, so far, that was leading to a good experience. But of course, you can play around with that. Building really good Power BI reports isn't about simple tricks or making things look pretty. It's about knowing exactly what needs to go in your Power BI reports and how to best visualize it. And of course, having the technical skills to do so. Now, my team and I have helped hundreds of companies across all different kinds of industries build effective Power BI reporting solutions. Now, if you want to learn all of our processes, frameworks, and get our templates of how we do it, then check out our upcoming Power BI design transformation over here. I hope to see you there. Let's go back to the video. Now, then there's another important thing, which is how are files accessible from Mac to Windows and the other way around, because it would be really annoying to work inside of Power BI, but you cannot connect to files that are on your Mac, but only those that are that you have saved in Windows. So how does that exactly work? Well, here on the options, you see how everything is shared. Now, the default is pretty okay. However, you can see over here how everything is shared in both directions, also add folders, etc. All right, now out of the box, it is set up in such a way that you can access the files that are on your Mac. So let's give this a try. I'm going to go here to Power BI. Let's see if I can import from Excel, from an Excel that's on the desktop on my Mac drive. So I'm going to go here to Browse. And then here on the left-hand side, you see I have, for example, Dropbox, but I can also go here to my Mac. And there we have my desktop. And here is a finance Excel file. I'm going to connect to it. Then choose the table or the sheet that I want to connect to and load it. All right, there you go. We have our table popping up, and you see it is pretty quick. Now, if I would like to refresh, well, just works in the same way as you're used to in Windows. And what about other tools that you often use with Power BI, like Tableau Editor or DAX Studio? Well, those you can also just install inside of the Windows virtual machine and, well, use them in coherence mode or full mode, however you prefer. Now let me show you. So over here, if I go to external tools, you see I have Tableau Editor and DAX Studio installed. You can just click on it. And there you go. We can start working in our Power BI file. And also here you see we are in coherence mode. So it looks and feels like a Mac app. And if you still want to have that Windows feeling, work inside of a Windows environment, well, then you just go for that full screen mode. Now, honestly, working with Power BI on this Mac has been a much better experience than working with Power BI on a Windows machine where I had an Intel i9, 64 gigabytes of RAM, but that Windows laptop was always super hot, super loud, and was getting slow in the end. So far, I'm super happy. Now, weren't there any issues so far? Well, almost none. Only one time I was working with AI on Power BI files. For that, I needed to work with Visual Studio Code in Windows. I couldn't use Visual Studio on a Mac. That wouldn't work. But that's kind of a small thing. The upside, though, is that I have so much more power and it has unified memory. So also when I'm rendering videos, it's much quicker. So really a huge difference. But running Power BI desktop with Parallels is actually not the only option that you have. You can also use the online environment. And I know it wasn't so good before, but it got much better now. If you go to Power BI Service, you see here on the left-hand side, you can go to Create, Get Data, and let's say I take that Excel workbook from before. I can click here on Browse OneDrive or upload a file. Now here's that Finance Excel file that I just had. And then I can go to Next. And here we can just follow the steps, transform data. Here we have the Power Query window, just like you're used to in Power BI Desktop. And then we can either create the report or first the semantic model only. Now let me just put it here in my demo workspace. Now here we can do almost all the same things as we can do in Power BI Desktop. And here you even have the DAX query view as well. And once you have your model, then you can create a report from it. And also here you have a lot of options to build a proper report. So it's not as bad as it used to be, right? So over here I can build my chart. Here we have formatting options, analytics. So everything that you need to start building. So now the big question, do I regret going for a MacBook as a Power BI developer? No, not at all. So far, it has been a really good experience. Now, maybe you're in the same position as I was a few weeks ago, considering to buy a Mac or a Windows computer. Well, if you have any questions, just put them in the comment section below. Happy to help. Now, if you want to build Power BI reports together with me from beginning to end, learn all of my tips and tricks, whether that is on a Windows machine or a Mac, doesn't matter, then check out my upcoming design transformation program over here. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.